All right. Hang on. Microphone cut off my face. Okay, so I didn't do anything too important today, but I did do a lot of neat things. You may notice the inventory now has these text boxes at the bottom of it. I guess I should explain that first. Okay, so these show how many items you have. This one shows how many items, like item stacks. That'd be like this and this, or that'd be like this one and this one. And this side shows how many items like you have, which would be like this one has 100, so that says it has 100 in here. Okay, you may notice that there's now a new button up here. You can now put buffs into the potion. You may also notice the potion hand thingy is gone. That is because I realized that you don't need it. Hang on, I got a hair on my tongue. What the fuck? That's because I realized you don't need it because you're only ever going to be swapping positions with things that are already in the potion thing, and you could just use the hands for that because of how I programmed it. How I programmed it was I didn't make it like a separate list or anything. I just made this whole object be the child of this side, and then turned on a button. Sorry, and then enabled a bool that allows you to consume things. So if I hit the button to consume things, it does not work, and then if I hit this, it does. Okay, next, you may notice that the buttons at the top of the screen now have colors. That's because I was a bit fed up with the fact that you couldn't really tell which section of the inventory you were in. So, yeah, now you can tell they're lit up, I guess, until you click on something. But, good enough. Speaking of good enough, speaking of good enough, I changed the logbook to actually make sense. I used a very bad way of programming it before, which was whenever you hit one of the buttons, it would turn all the other sections off and turn the section that the button corresponded to on. That is stupid because you could just move it to the front instead and it would accomplish the same thing. I also noticed while I was working on this that these panels would get a bit like if you put an item in a different spot, it would the panel would go with it, which means you'd have panels like over here, and you can't really read that. So I made it set the panel to the opposite of the current position. Wait, no, that's not what I did. I tried that, didn't work. What I did was I set it to just the parent position, or to the position of the parent of this object here. And that position would be right about here on the screen. Here, let me show you. Right about here. Okay. Next, I also made it so you do not fall anymore while you are in the inventory. I did this in case you had some, I don't know, Minecraft MLG bucket clutch type item you wanted to use, but like you couldn't before because, you would fall. Now you don't have to worry about that. You do still fly, or you do still move around. I didn't really fix that. This is probably more overpowered than before because now you don't experience gravity in this state either. but I mean, it's still equally as frustrating. In fact, potentially even a little bit more, because I moved the inventory 4 pixels upwards because it was getting on my nerves how there would be little cracks, like right here at the top and bottom of the screen. Yeah. Yeah, let me see what else I did. The background. Okay, yep. Everything else was just fixing bugs, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed what I have done today. I know I did, and I hope to see you again soon. Wow, that is a very generic-ass YouTube outro. Okay, here, have a less generic one. Fuck you!